Okay guys, so today's video isn't really a why question. It's more like, why does the why guy do something? This is one of my crafts that I do. I have multiple little things that I do. I do 3D printing, blacksmithing, bottle cutting is what we're doing today. So you may have seen some videos. If not, welcome, and I hope you enjoy it. Alright guys, so we're going to start out with this bottle that I've already prepared in the way of cutting it. Now you know what? Let's start at the beginning. So here I have a Svedka bottle. Okay, you've probably seen these. I work at a recycle plant, so it's really easy to get a hold of glass because they just, give them to me. Anyways, so we're going to start with this one. These are actually one of my favorite ones. They don't work all the time. You'll find that some bottles work, some bottles don't. What I just did was super important. Okay, take off the lid. Don't leave it on. Because if you do, then you will have bottles that shatter because you are heating up the liquid inside and they will literally pop apart in your hands, and it scares the crap out of you. Of course, it scares me every time anyways, so it's no big deal. Anyways, so we're going to start with this one, and I have this little glass cutter right here. And it is maybe like $14 on Amazon, and it can cut huge bottles. I've cut bottles like this. Okay, it will cut big bottles. Anyways, so you can also use this right here, and that's another reason I like these Svedka bottles, is because they actually have like a perfect line for you to follow all the way around the outside of the bottle with this carbide cutting wheel glass cutter. Okay, so there's two different ways to do it. You can do it with just this. This is like $4 on Amazon. So if I can get the links, I'll link them down in the description. So I'll move on from there. We're going to place this on here. And you can see it kind of lines up with that stripe right there. I'm actually going to scoot it up just a little bit, because what I want is I want to keep the imported on there. What I'm aiming for is this little diamond cutting wheel right here. It's the same thing as what's on this, just a little bit smaller and, mounted to a machine. So let's go ahead and turn it over, set it where we want it, and then you're going to lock it down. Lock it down. Okay.
Lock that stuff down!
Alright. Lock it down. Okay, moving on. What you're going to do is you're going to turn toward you and push down as you turn. So we're going to go ahead and push that, and you can hear that wonderfully awful noise. I hope you can hear that here. What was that noise? That is not the noise that I was going for.
I'm getting annoyed with my computer.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Annoying computers aside. Let's go ahead and figure out what that is. Oh, there's a little bump in the glass. So that doesn't happen very often, but if it does, no biggie. You'll end up with just a little bit of a bump in your cut. So let's move back to that. Get past it, and let's keep going. So another thing with this one that I've seen happen a lot lately is this back plate bends a little bit as you're pushing on it. So mostly just hold it against it, but don't push back. Again, that wonderful noise.
It's so beautiful.
It's going to be a wonderful showpiece, I can already tell you that much. And by that I mean knot, because of that knot is messing with me. Do all of them have it? Yes, they do. Okay. Moving on. So you can see we got a pretty clean cut except for where our bump is. See right here. A little bit of a drop. Other than that, you're looking for a clean line around the entire outside edge. I have both tools, so I can actually use both. I would recommend using safety glasses while you're doing this. I was on the edge of danger apparently. Okay, so we're going to try and make this work. Okay, be careful that those are little shards of glass, so keep that in mind. Okay, so we've got our line cut around the outside. Now, the next step, we're going to move over to my sink. I know that sounds kind of strange. We're going to move over to my sink, and we are going to play with fire. So we have our cut bottle here. We are going to move on to the tempering / cutting stage. So I've already done all the work in the way of just putting this line here. What it does is there's microfractures in the glass itself. And they only go just very, very, very shallowly into the bottle. But they are aimed inward, toward the center of the bottle. So what I'm going to do is heat and cool the glass over and over and over again until those cracks just keep burrowing straight down. Now, in a perfect world, I'll get a perfectly clean crack. Honestly, I would count on about a 50% attrition rate when it comes to the bottles. About half of them are going to just shatter in your hands. And I don't mean shatter like glass everywhere, blood, I gotta go to the hospital. No, I mean like it breaks something like this. Let me see if I can find this crack in here. I pull out one that's actually okay. Okay. This is from the glass you'll see at the end of the video. This is actually how it broke. So you can see it actually did a pretty good clean break, except for right there. Because it actually threw this little crack up, and then the rest of the glass just wants to follow it. So you can't always win. And I've only had a couple bottles that are actually, I would consider very, very good. So, of course, you know, everyone's their own worst critic. Let's get on with it. Where did I put my lighter? Alright, well I don't know where my lighter is, so I'm just going to pull this one. Magic! I'm just joking. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start this. I found this at the bottom of the lake. Things you can find in the lake, do you see? Anyways, what I'm going to do is turn this down to a fairly low heat. See if my cameraman can melt my phone. So that it's just an even heat. And at that point I'm also going to turn on my coldest water that I can get. It's going to be like mildly luke cold, considering I live in the desert. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to heat this up to the point where you can't hold your finger on it, but it won't burn you just by touching it. Okay, and that's kind of going to be our gauge. Now I'm going to use this little thing over here, little rag. And I actually like wearing button-ups when I'm doing this, because I can go like this, stick it in here, and then when I get it wet, I can roll it on this to dry it off, and then go back to the heat. Okay. So those are different things. You want to try and get most of it out of there. You'll never get it all. Don't worry about it too much. And we're just going to continually turn this over the flame. Okay, don't get right up close to it, and you'll hear weird noises too. I'm actually going to turn off the water. I just heard some. Keep turning it. I have my thumb stationary on this side. So it's really hot. I can't hold my fingers on it, but it's also not going to burn me the second I do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, continually turning it, place it under the water, and just continue to turn. And what we're looking for is there's going to be a perfect, like, it almost looks like a mirror inside of the glass. Let's see if I can get this on camera. So right here, I don't know if you guys can see that on camera, there's a little line underneath the glass is what it looks like. And that's actually those little microfractures pushing down into the glass. So what we're going to do is just like erosion on, you know, a mountain breaks off a huge chunk of rock. I'm going to do the same thing to this glass, just, you know, a lot faster than erosion does it. So let's go back to this, start heating it again. And this will break at any time, and it scares me every single time. I jump every single time. So again, you can really see this line growing inside of the bottle. You see that? Kind of like a reflection underneath the glass. Okay? So we're going to just keep going. It is getting close, and it does actually look like a fairly clean possible break. So let's just keep going. Some bottles are better if you do really fast, like lots of heat, really, really cold. Lots of heat, really, really cold. Some of them, little heat, little cold, little heat, little cold. And it scares me every single time. Okay guys, so I'm sitting here editing this video, and I saw this when it happened, but I wasn't sure. So I'm going to claim that. So right as it breaks, right here, you can see what looks to be a fireball, and as you continue on, you see that it is actually a alcohol burning fireball, because the vapor that I was making by heating it up inside of the bottle actually vaporized the alcohol into the bottle, and then when it broke apart, the air and oxygen in the air rushed in and mixed, and it hit a stoichiometric percentage of air versus fuel that actually made a little fireball. So I had to put this in here because that was cool. Back to the video. Okay, so what you need to remember as these break apart, and this is the most dangerous part about it, is if a piece falls out of your hand, let it fall. Don't try to catch it. It's better to have a broken bottle in the sink than a scar on your hand. Now that's not actually from bottle cutting, but it makes a good point, okay? So now we have this. What we're going to do is we're going to inspect it for little things like this. We'll see if this will focus. Okay, so what we're looking for is little things like that crack right there, right in the center of the screen, right here. Do you see that little crack? That might be an issue. Now, it's hard to tell where that crack goes, so I'm going to keep an eye on that one as I start to sand it. And that's the next step. I'm going to give it a once over here. Oh, just that one. See the blue flame behind it? Anyways, just that one crack right there. Ooh, focus. So I'm going to move on to the sanding stage. And we're going to go ahead and make that part 2 of this video. If you want to learn, so this is how you cut a bottle. At this point, you literally are just going to sand it, and you can drink out of it. Okay. Make sure that you watch out for little snags. This is very sharp. Little side note fact: the sharpest edge in the world still today. If any of you know what it is, leave it down in the comments. Just joking, I'm not going to do that to you. It is obsidian. The sharpest edge in the world is something that has been around, well, since the world began, sort of thing, and has been used in weapons for thousands of years. So, they had something right. The sharpest edge is obsidian. It goes down to like a micron thick or something like that, or just a nanomicron. It's ridiculous. Anyways, so, if you want to watch how I sand this to take it to a smooth edge, like you'll see in the glasses here in just a second, watch the second part of the video, and don't forget, never stop asking why. Thanks, guys. So I've kind of shown you guys the process. These ones are completely done, just to kind of show you what the final product. And I have two very different outcomes here. This one broke almost perfectly. You can see around the edge right here that it broke with almost no markings. Now you can spend hours and hours trying to sand these down so that they don't have any marks on the top at all. This one, however, did not break as clean, but that's not saying you can't use it. So this, you can see through it because it's polished, but you can see the top edge is not quite as clean looking. But there are actually there's no sharp edges right there, even though it looks like there is on camera. But there isn't, so you can still drink out of this. I mean, it's all, I'm pushing really, really hard right here. It's all clean glass, and it's super smooth on the top, and it's polished, so this is what you're going for. Oh, also, make sure that you get the enameled. See, this isn't a sticker on there, it's enameled. It's like painted on there, okay? You want to get those so that when you wash this in the dishwasher, which we all, you know, use. If we don't, we like to use them anyways, it doesn't come off, okay? So this is also that enamel, if you can hear that. It's actually enameled on there, it's not a sticker, okay? So avoid stickers if you want designs on there. If not, just enjoy your clear glasses. So that's all I have for you guys today.